Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the World Economic Federation podcast. My name is Frankline Owen, and today we are joined by a very special guest, the architect of the World Economic Federation, Mr. Jonathan Findlay. Hello, John. Welcome to the podcast. Yeah, so today we are going to delve on various issues. Feel free to join the discussion in the comment section and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Also, hello, John. How you been?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well too. So just a follow-up on the past two episodes that we had. One of the things that came up was your view on the working class. You've always expressed your belief in the superiority of the working class over the donor class, as well as the leaders. What qualities do you believe the working class possess that make them more valuable contributors to the society?
Well, first of all, it's their work on which the basis of the fiat currency is ostensibly based. Economics is about the management of productivity. Without productivity, in actuality, any fiat currency doesn't actually have meaningful value in the economic sense. And it is the working class, not privileged access to the Federal Reserve window, for example, that creates the real economic value. The other aspect is a lot of times in my interactions with the upper class, I have been lectured frequently on the way I do things. I don't know the value of the dollar. And my argument has always been, well, you don't know the value of a person. To make that more clear, I often might invest in a way that creates an opportunity that ultimately, I hope, helps people have the door cracked, that they have the choice to walk through it or not to improve their lives.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I have more respect for the working class is the things that sometimes they have done that might be frowned upon morally or ethically. Sometimes you hear the expression, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
Where they were born into a system, they cannot help it. And that system says, to get ahead, you cheat. To get ahead, you say what you need to. You undermine who you need to. Because eventually, you'll get to be at the top of this hierarchical system.
Yeah.
And they aren't higher-nest. They have no security. Then you put that in contrast where they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. They were effectively born into the system without choice, and they are simply playing by the rules as it has been demonstrated to them by the upper class. Now, if you take that same attitude of you don't know the value of a dollar, where I say you don't know the value of a person, there are a lot of wealthy people in this world who could afford to retire tomorrow and never step on another person again, metaphorically speaking, or maybe literally if they're into that. But they have a choice. They are secure in their position. They are independently wealthy. And in a capitalist society, only the independently wealthy are truly free, as it's structured right now. There isn't a free market where everyone is free. The people that are free are the ones with privileged access to the credit system.
Yeah.
So the wealthy, the 1%, they choose to step on others even though they have everything they need. They don't have to worry about feeding their kids. They don't have to worry about any of that, but they just keep doing it because they can't help themselves. So am I supposed to respect that when they have all of their needs met?
Definitely no.
Am I supposed to disrespect the working class who are just struggling to feed their kids?
No.
And following the rules of the system that's set up by the upper classes. Being in a position of authority or privilege is not absolute freedom. It should be a burden, because when you're in that position, you are the people to blame for when the rules break the system. Because you make the rules. You cannot blame the working class for playing the game.
Yeah, true.
You can only blame the people in charge of making those rules. And part of what the Federation intends to offer is, okay, that's how the billionaire class wants to structure capitalism. In contrast, the Federation honors the working class through capitalism and puts the working class in charge of capitalism, because in the end, it is their productivity that creates the value of the respective fiat currency in which they operate. So to say that a billionaire is the best and brightest because he has privileged access to credit, when he's really just exploiting the labor, is absurd. Because you can take that same credit, hand it to labor, in my view, and you will get far better results by giving labor a seat at the table. There's no need. I've spoken a lot about my problem with the current interpretation of capitalism, the current interpretation of communism and socialism is ultimately they're enforced through a gun or a barrel or state violence, taking freedoms away. You do not live in a free society if your freedoms can be taken away for someone else's profit.
Yeah, true.
So by giving the working class a seat at the table to leverage the credit system through the green energy structure, we are effectively saying, this is how you make the system equitable, through your own opinions being heard through this social media voting system. And then you can actually get commerce done and start meeting demands and having the productivity that is supposed to exist in a capitalist system that is currently simply controlled by an oligarchy. You cannot separate the current interpretation or those other systems from violence. And the only way you can do that is by putting the people that actually have to do the work in charge. And if the billionaire class want to be supportive of that, great. Their businesses can become a part of a better future age working with their employees rather than undermining democracies and their voices in their own governments for profit.